You guys remember reading about those? Remember them? A little bit?
Remember Google as the example? Remember the Google Earth? It's an example of the sea lions. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how I remember it, I mean, it's really funny, but actually, Allie went to school here last year. She reminded me, she goes, Shin, your shin line is number 1. You ever taken a shot to the shin? That's your number 1 line. Then what's below your shin? Your sole, or your SOE, S-O-E, SOE line. And then your te line. So shin, SOE, and te line. Heaven, then what? Earth, and then you have man. So on those, one of the books that we have, and if you're interested, and this is a great reference book for this floral design book. So if you get done and you want to read through some of this stuff, it's got great references, and I brought it over for everybody. The several different schools of karate, just like karate, you've got different forms. You know, kung fu, regular karate, and MMA, you hear jiu-jitsu. Same way with Ikebana. There's several different schools and they teach different methods. It depends who's the teacher. It's like coming to class. You have her way, her class rules might be different than your next class, right? So it's the same thing in this floral design. So shin, heaven, SOE, man, tai, earth. And the proportions, again, your SOE or your man line is about 2/3 the length. So you got your tall line, shorter line about 2/3, and then your other focal. So that's what we're going to work with, and they all go at different angles. So again, it's sort of an inner journey too. You go with what you feel. That's why I really like this, because we're going to make 3 lines. I'm going to give you an example. Follow it, but let the flowers tell you what they want to do. But follow the proportions. You'll do really good. Starting out, this is your container, about a 1/2 brick. Put a 1/2 brick in there, and then notice, so we don't have to use the tape, I just cut the edges off and then wedged them down on the corners. That holds us in, see? So we don't have to tape it. One of the mechanics, there's other mechanics we use. Also, this reduces the surface area that we have to cover. Now again, this is a Western application, Ikebana. It's not true. In a real Ikebana, we don't use foam. Everything is done natural in the container. For example, I'll take a branch here, and to put this branch into this container, you're going to say, how am I going to get this to stick straight up? We'll take in each one of these and then split, and you wedge that in, and then that sets in to the container to hold it into place. So you could use that into a clear vase. So there's ways that you use that you create all natural. We had a lady in Kansas City did this arrangement that was probably over 7-8 feet in diameter. Not one piece of oasis. Everything was done with naturals. They took and they had about 100 of these cut like this, hairpins. So you place the stem and then take another branch that was split to hold that stem into place. So again, very natural, not artificial. In Western application, we get to have fun with it. Okay, it makes it a little bit easier to learn. First line, take your branches. What line is this? Again, what are we going to call this one? Your tallest line? Shin. Yep. Never straight in one of the more popular things. You want it slightly curved. Then we're going to create the next line. What are we going to use on the next line? Let's use some foliage. This is aspidistra leaf. A little trick here. This also will help cover up some of the foliages here. And then, let's see, your other flowers, what do you want to use? So that's our greens. Let's go here. Perhaps, what we got here? flowers did we get? Oh, there's ranunculus, okay. See, a couple of stems of the ranunculus over there. You want to bring some of those over?
Yeah.
The janitor must love this classroom.
I'm his job security.
We don't need a lot of flowers. We're gonna group them in. You can leave the leaves on if you want to. I just wanted a little bit of a clean line, because I think by taking those off, it will draw attention. And also understanding the materials. I know that these are gonna bloom out in a couple of days. So that pink behind that, so I wanna take these off so your focus will go to the green lines behind it. 2 of those, and then we will come out with some ranunculus. Bunches did we get of this? A couple.
3.
Bunches.
I think one of the shops bought the rest of them.
There. Getting another line coming in there. And then we're gonna use just a really cool focal in there. Very minimal materials, a lot of space, so you get a lot of applied value. That's pretty much it. Now we just gotta cover up the mechanics. Remember how we talked about that last class using the ferns and the different types of materials? That's with the seeded uke. You can take a little bit of that, group this in here. You can take some of your wax flower. Break this off. Keep it tight to the container. We don't want to take away from the lines, but just use this to help accent your. In traditional, the Japanese Ikebana, the container is very, very important. So you have like a pottery, that's ancient, handed down family to family, and it would match the picture in the alcove. So a lot of times very minimal on the filler. You don't want to cover that up because the pottery is so important. In this case, we're just gonna accent it a little bit. This works really fast too. You can just take this in your hand, group it together, 3 or 4 pieces. And again, springtime, so another reason we brought the branches, Japan uses the natural elements that are available. So springtime, you want to use the cherry blossoms, the plum blossoms, dogwood out here in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. All those that are out there, you want to use. Very seasonal.
You guys ready? Think you can do that?
Heck no.
Sure. You're getting better and better with every one you make, Cameron.
And you get this done, and then you can sort of come up and copy. And when we come up and look at it, you'll see how simple it is. Now this is the funnest part, that the moss and everything. Oh, some Gaelic sleeves. Can you grab a couple of those? That's what I was looking for. sort of look like water lilies, so that will